What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the quartering, and Ruby Rose. Long after abandoning Batwoman for mysterious reasons, which I will now reveal today, I believe, after a second interview, she was on doing the late night show last night, or one of the boring late night shows, and she was asked directly about why she left Batwoman, and I think if you read between the lines, it's actually a pretty savage answer. It's actually exactly the type of answer that we believe, or that I believed, when she initially quit. I mean, Batwoman was tanking in the ratings. Just to refresh your memory, this is a show that debuted to 1.86 million viewers and had that dip as low as just 630,000 by January. I'm sorry, by episode 17. So in 17 weeks, it had bled out almost 70% of its viewers. That's a lot of dissatisfaction. You know what I have a lot of satisfaction with? The Satisfy Nintendo Switch game grip. If you have a Switch and you want to support the channel, consider picking one of these up. Huge shout out to this video's sponsor, Satisfy, the makers of the brand new Zen Grip Pro. Now, I've had my Switch since about launch, and I've never used a grip on it. In fact, here it is. But what the Zen Grip Pro offers is amazing. It adds a ton of comfort regardless of your hand size. Let's take a look at what's inside the Zen Grip Pro bundle, which, by the way, will make a great Christmas birthday gift or a gift to yourself. Inside their case, you open it up, you've got spots for all of your games. Now, you could just get the grip if you wanted, but if you take the actual grip out, what you see on here is a lot of silicone on the back. So essentially your Switch will float on that. So no plastic on plastic touching. It slides in super easy, and it's in there. Like, it does not come out once it's in there, and it is infinitely more comfortable. And they gave me a special discount code, which will be in the pinned comment below. You can save 10% off. Not only support the channel by getting yourself an awesome new grip for your Nintendo Switch or one for your friend or family member, but you'll also be supporting the channel and a sponsor. And I'm excited to announce that Satisfy has rolled out a brand new, beautiful Zen Grip Ice Edition, which is available for pre-order now. So check out the Satisfy, either the Zen Grip Pro, or if you have a Switch Lite, they also have a controller. Link in the pinned comment below. That was a pretty good transition. But anyway, I've talked to them. They said a lot of you are picking them up, which is awesome. I really love mine, and I hope you'll take advantage of the deal, which is in the pinned comment below. So after abandoning the show, even the finale with just 730,000 viewers proved that they lost more than half. I mean, think about that. More than half of the audience that tuned in the first week had abandoned it by the last week. That doesn't happen by accident. It's not just a coincidence. I mean, there were weeks where viewership was down 50% week over week. That is not an accident. And last night, according to Bonding Into Comics, Ruby Rose revealed more about her departure from Batwoman. And that cat Kimber says hi. Former Batwoman star Ruby Rose is going into greater detail about why she left the CW series after the first season. Rose was a guest star on Jimmy Fallon this week, and she clarified that she, quote, didn't bail out with no notice to producers or the network. Well, if you remember back at the time, everyone knew she was unhappy with the show. And it was long rumored that she didn't like the long hours in acting. She didn't like all the work. That's what was said about her. Now, we don't know if that was something that was leaked to make her look bad. It's entirely possible. She goes on to say, quote, I didn't up and leave, she told Fallon. We were in such a weird position because we had to shut down before we could even finish the season. That's a non-answer, isn't it? That doesn't exactly make a lot of sense. What is it related? So that was a weird, like, PR-like answer, but she expands on that. Rose revealed that she had a talk with executive producer Greg Berlanti after some deep contemplation while in lockdown. They concluded they've gone as far as they could with Kate Kane, despite the fact that Kate is the one and only in the comics. What? You've gone as far as you could with Kate Kane. You decided that at what point during the Batwoman season? A brand new IP, a stunning and brave representation on the main screen. And you decided, what, with 12 episodes left, that you had already explored everything that needed to be explored with Batwoman? This is baloney sausage. There's no way that's what they quote-unquote both decided. Maybe they ended up meaning Ruby Rose had done as much as she wanted to do with Kate Kane and move along. She continues, quote, I ended up talking to Warner Brothers and Greg and where the show was going, and we really just kind of had a really good, honest chat where we sort of mutually agreed that Kate Kane and her story and everything we had set out to do. Rose started. What? Rose stated. She then discussed her reply. We'll get to that. Wait. What do you mean? Through 10 episodes, you're like, meh, that's it for Kate Kane. Yeah, she dates women and she fought crime for a little bit. That's all you really need to know about her. That's kind of it. You know, let's just wrap up. Let's just wrap it up. You know, jump out of here. Jump out of the show after one season. Yeah, no big deal. I don't believe you, Ruby Rose. I believe you're giving the correct answer, the PR answer. But then she goes, she then discussed her replacement, Javicia Leslie, who plays an original character, Ryan Wilder, whom Rose is excited to see. And again, Javicia, this show will also fail. And it's not going to be her fault. It wasn't Ruby Rose's fault that Batwoman stunk. It was the writing. And it was the people will watch this show because we said that Ruby Rose is bi. And people will just tune in. No, that's not what happened. Every single Sunday night, they would advertise. They would take a sponsored position on Twitter for Batwoman. And all these people would be talking on Twitter about how stunning and brave Batwoman is and how she could totally slay Queen. But the fact of the matter was, none of them were watching the show. This is like, Batwoman is probably the most perfect example of get woke, go broke in modern, like, television. They thought that they could just trot out somebody who checked the right boxes and then everyone would tune in. Batwoman isn't exactly an obscure character. It's a character that fit in to the CW cast, especially with Supergirl, and she fits great into the Arrowverse. What ultimately ended the show's run, I believe, was terrible writing. Ruby Rose knew the writing was bad. She knew the show was a joke, and she didn't want to have Batwoman attached to her name for the rest of her life. I think this is a woman that has starred in, obviously, feature films, even in minor type roles. I think I remember her in one of the John Wick movies. She just did another movie with Morgan Freeman. She didn't want to be Batwoman. She didn't want to be attached to the sinking Titanic. She said, quote, I had a blast, and I really do feel like it was right for the show to pass the mantle on to someone else now, Rose admitted. Do you? You quit in the middle of the season, or you were already a problem in the middle of the season, and before they had really officially ended things, you had your walking papers in order. What? I don't believe any of this. She's just lying. I was really time to pass the mantle. You didn't even have one complete season. It's time to pass the mantle, but you had 15 episodes. You had to cut the season short by, what, 3 or 4 episodes? It was time to pass the mantle? Just be honest. You hated the show, Rose. I believe that all of your non-answers here confirms exactly what my suspicions are. You hated the show. You didn't want to be attached to it in long term, and that's that. If the rumors around the physicality being tough on you, if the rumors were that, you know, it was too much of a workload, too physically straining because you were in chronic pain or something like that, you would have come out and said that by now. But now all you're saying is, yeah, you know, flooring install's going well. You just came out now and said, oh, it was time to pass the mantle. That's pure baloney. She later stopped by SiriusXM, the Jess Cagle show, or Kagel, whatever, To chat more about Batwoman, Rose explained her neck injury, often blamed for cutting her stint short, had little to do with her decision. It wasn't that, the actress said. I mean, that definitely made me go back to work so quickly tricky. They accommodated her the best they could. They really accommodated trying to get me out there the best they could, going back so early, she continued. We wanted to obviously meet the release date of the show. I think that played a bigger part. I think what played a bigger part was more we got shut down early, Rose added. We didn't get to finish the first season, which is such a shame, especially for the first season of a show. But Ruby, you said it was time to pass the mantle. You said here that it was a shame that you ended the season early. You didn't get a chance to finish it, but you also say it was time to pass the mantle. Which is it? They can't be both true. She reiterated that to Jess, she, Berlanti, and Warner Brothers agreed it was the right thing for Rose to hang it up and go in a new direction. Everything, again, had been accomplished with Kate Kane, in her opinion. Are you crazy? Kate Kane could have had multiple seasons to develop the character, but that's not really what the CW does for their characters. But nonetheless, Rose finished off saying she is sad and waving goodbye to Batwoman, but also excited for everything else that's coming up. Rose is in the new movie The Doorman, co-starring Morgan Freeman. Yeah, she didn't like Batwoman. She didn't like the show. She didn't like being attached to it, and she quit. That's what happened. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.